So I'm gonna try and rake the hay of our fields with our four-wheeler, but in order to do that, there are a couple things that I need to fix on it real quick. Number one, our fuel line, the filter cracked on it. I don't know how that happened, but I got a new filter off of Amazon. These things are pretty basic. I don't think that there's a whole lot to it. And then the other thing that I'm going to be repairing on this today is I'm going to put in a new ignition coil, because I've had problems with this running, and I think it could be an ignition coil issue. Here's our old fuel filter. Thing just cracked and busted. I guess cheap fuel filters don't go a long way. This is a much nicer fuel filter. It's a lot bigger, and it will work fine. I think it'll be better than this little rinky-dink thing that was in there. Okay, so with these fuel filters, basically the flow to the carb will be in this direction. So the fuel enters in this open area here, and then it goes through the filter and out to the carb. So my fuel line appears to be too long. It's kinking when I put it in there. That's gonna cause a problem with the flow of fuel. So what I'm gonna do is remeasure this and cut these down. Could actually get by with just one of these lines. Oh look, scissors. That's convenient. So there's actually a pretty tight fit in here, and I'd like to get that tube further on, but I don't want to break this. I think it's snug enough. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the fuel just to make sure that there's no leaks in the fuel. I've got a little dampness right here, but let's try and tighten that up. The rest of the fuel filter appears to be okay. Well, got a leak dripping right out of the base. Somewhere up in there, there's a leak. So it's not leaking at the filter, it's just leaking everywhere else. Next thing I have to put on here is the ignition coil. This is pretty much what regulates the voltage to your spark plugs. And because these only have one spark plug, these are pretty basic contraptions. You just have the coil and your plug wire. I can't remember where it is on this. Okay, so here's your plug wire, and you just follow that up, and the coil is up in here. So I need to unscrew that and screw in the new one. So my old coil, the screws don't want to come out. What I've decided I'm gonna do is test my new coil first. If the new coil operates the way that it should, and things are good there, what I might end up doing is zip tying it in for now, and then I'll come back and when I have more time, take this thing apart and cut those screws off from the old one, and then screw the new one on. But they're pretty nasty, rusted on there. It's not gonna come off without being able to get in there and really work on it. Yellow, if it's up like this, the yellow would go on the front, the green kind of goes towards the back. I just put the wires on the same way and used the same wires that the old one had. Here's the old one. You can see those screws in there are just, they're stripping out. Can't get that out of there. There's my old ignition coil. Put that on my spark plug. You know what they say, if you can't fix it, zip it. So you can see up in here, I have zip tied my ignition coil up just underneath the old ignition coil. It's a lot smaller than the old ignition coil, so I'm wondering if this one's even going to work. I've also zip tied my wires down. That's important. The exhaust is right here. I don't want the wires sitting on the exhaust and getting too hot. It's on the spark plug pretty tight. We'll start it up and see what happens. Now with the new ignition coil, I may need to make some adjustments to my carburetor. There's a little knob down at the very bottom of the carburetor on this side that you can turn to adjust your carburetor if I do in fact need to do that. So let me put the key in there. It's got power. Give it a little bit of starter fluid because it's been sitting for a while. Maybe a lot of starter fluid. Choke. Should be G to G. That means good to go.